how to cope with an avoidant partner. In this video, I'm going to share with you a few tips if you want to have a happy and fulfilling relationship with an avoidant partner. I used to be dismissive avoidant, but because of my work and the work I've done with my therapist, I'm more secure, and I also can give you some insights from dismissive avoidance mind, but I'll explain you everything. Jiggle.
IGetMyExPack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, what it means to be avoidant, if you're not familiar with this concept, I'm making a lot of videos about attachment. Have a look on my other videos. There's also some few tips on Instagram. But it's basically the fear of commitment, the difficulty of closing close relationship. They are scared of commitment because when you are vulnerable, you have this belief that you're weak, right? If you show all of yourself to someone, you're weak, and you basically try to protect yourself from this. So that's why avoidant people, they struggle with intimacy. They might have a lot of friends, but if you look at their relationship with their friends, for example, it's very, very superficial. And if you ask their friends, they would say like, I don't know a lot about him. I don't know his story. I don't know what he's scared of, or this sort of trauma or his childhood. They are really reserved on their intimacy, right? So if you are in a relationship with someone like that, it's always frustrating, and sometimes you feel alone because you want to connect, you want to share things. Building a relationship is about how you can be intimate with that person, how you can share your fears, how you can share your secrets to that person, and they are not able to do that. Okay, so that's why dating an avoidant is very frustrating. That's why getting back with an avoidant is extremely frustrating, because we want to connect at a deeper level and they don't necessarily have the ability to do that. So the problem is, it's not their fault. This attachment is the result of childhood experiences. It doesn't have to be traumatic experiences. I've had a very happy childhood. I have amazing parents, but for some reason I developed an ability to self-soothe. So each time I'm under stress, I have a strong emotion, I will be I developed an ability to self-soothe, to do it on my own. So if I'm upset, if I'm sad, I'll go on my own room and be with myself. People who are more anxious, they will want to connect, they will want to vent. It's a very different way to deal with emotions. And that's why avoidant, they don't rely on others, they rely on themselves. And as a result, it's very, very weird for them to open up, to vent, to discuss things. So that's why avoidance, it's interesting when you start working with avoidants in therapy, they are very, very vocal because they feel safe talking with a therapist, way more safe than talking to their wife or their husband. So again, this ability to self-soothe, which felt like a superpower when I was younger. I thought like, I don't have to rely on anyone. I can do it on my own. And then when you grow up, when you want to have kids, when you want to have a family, you struggle because you realize it's also about connection. And this is why it's also their fault. It's also their fault. Don't try to blame yourself. Don't blame yourself for the person they are. Being attached to a primary attachment figure is an essential need. We are hardwired. It's in our DNA to be attached to a primary attachment figure. It starts with your mom or your caregiver if you don't have a mom, and then you transition in adulthood with another partner. It is in the DNA, attachment theory, John Bowlby, you can read about that. There's no debate around that. And what avoidants are doing is that they deactivate this attachment. They protect themselves unconsciously by deactivating this attachment. If you're watching this video and you want to be in that relationship, they probably showed you that they loved you. They said things like, I've never been like this with anyone, I've never said things like this to anyone, I'm happy with you. But the problem is that they don't follow through. They would say things like that, I want to get married, I want to have kids, and then they run away. It's not progressing, right? They need to also realize what they want. If your avoidant ex or partner is 18 or 20, I have nothing to do, and nothing against people who are young, but it's the tendency to feel like, oh, I have all my life to commit, right? If your partner is a bit older and wants to build something, right, he or she needs to realize that in order to build something, he or she needs to be intimate with that person, to open up a little bit more, to connect. Otherwise, they are wasting their time, they are wasting your time. So that's why it's also their fault, and I'm really mad about that because I have a lot of clients, they feel like, oh yeah, I should have said this, I should have said that, I've seen that if you say this, you triggered. I do agree, there are some behaviors, some things that if you say it in the wrong way, you can trigger them. But at the end of the day, if you want to have kids with someone, they need to connect, they need to commit. Okay, so there's a clash as well between their vision. If they don't want to have kids, if they want to have a family, you're wasting your time, you move on. If they want to have kids, if they want to have a family, if they want to be in a relationship, they have to figure out that why they are self-sabotaging their relationship. So how to cope? First of all, you communicate openly and honestly with your partner about your needs and about your feelings. So it's not about complaining, it's not about venting, and that's the thing. You just have to use effective communication to explain how you feel, to explain what are your needs. And I'm going to explain you also how to balance this, because sometimes people feel like, but I'm too needy, I'm too clingy, I need more of that person. Second thing is to try to understand your partner's perspective, and I think that's why I'm doing a lot of videos about avoidant, about attachment style, for you to also understand how people function, how your partner function. Also avoid blaming and criticizing them. So it's finding the right balance, because if they react this way, it's usually unconscious. They don't do it to hurt you. It's very important for you to understand this. I used to hurt my partners in the past, and I didn't mean it. And the thing is, when you're avoidant, you don't understand why you hurt that person, because you feel like, but if she has said that or done that, I would have been okay. Because you self-soothe. So you feel like, why is she crying? Because I've done that or this, right? So it's very, very important for you to also understand this. Now, if you also want to have a successful relationship, it's important to take care of yourself. And that's why this element is very important, and that's why it's important if you feel that you can't get enough support from your partner, is to have also support from your friends and family. If you only rely for emotional support to your partner, it's not healthy, regardless if that person is secure or avoidant. And that's why sometimes people are very confused, because they feel like, I can't be with that person because I'm not good enough and I need that person. So try to find ways to soothe with other person, to have connection with other person than just your partner. And that applies if you're dating an avoidant or a secure person. You really want to, it's not like putting all your eggs in the same basket, but back in the days, and Estelle Perel did a TED talk about that. Back in the days, your husband was just to provide security and money, right? And now what we expect from our partners is to be our lover, our confidant, our coach, everything that a whole community would provide, right? And so there's so much at stake that sometimes it could be overwhelming, again, regardless whether it's an avoidant or a secure person. Consider therapy, counseling, if you need to look at those unresolved issues or feelings, or inability to express your needs, or understanding why it's so hard for you to feel that your ex doesn't want to be with you 24/7, doesn't want to reply to your messages 24/7. It's probably something that has been unresolved, and like any therapist, what I do is I peel the onion, trying to see what's going on and sort of make it resurface for you to analyze and move forward. How to cope. Now, last thing, not the last things, the last slide before the last. Be realistic about the limitations of the relationship. And if it's healthy to consider, you don't want to be in a relationship that doesn't make you happy. Okay? So if you analyze the situation, you know right away that that person is not willing to put the effort, willing to invest a bit of time. Like I did. I used to be avoidant, and I realized that by acting this way, I never have a happy relationship. Give me a call if you're not sure. Give me a call if you want to have a true, unbiased, honest opinion about your case. There's a link in the description. I'll be more than happy to give you my view of the situation. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's your call, but give you an unbiased opinion of the situation. Remember, being with an avoidant is difficult. It's hard. Does it mean that you should give up? No, but it's harder. Ideally, you want to be with someone secure. So you can manage this if, and only if, actually, you understand the reasons behind their behavior, so reading about attachment style. You communicate openly, so you, but also them, right? You need to create a space where they will also be able to open up. If they don't feel like opening up to you, they need to speak with someone to get that help, to really improve that skill, right? So it's really like a muscle, and you need to improve that muscle. And sometimes when you ask big questions to someone who's avoidant, they don't really know how to answer. They don't know. If you ask someone who's avoidant, what's your value, what are you scared of, they're gonna have a very hard time. So perhaps a therapist or someone can help them in that sense. And last is also taking care of yourself, because again, if they're not there to support you emotionally, and they have to do it a certain amount, but you can't only rely on them for that. So take care of yourself, find ways for you to take care of yourself. Last but not least, you deserve to be in a relationship that makes you happy and fulfilled. Life is too short to waste your time trying to rescue a relationship that doesn't make you happy, with someone that doesn't respect you, with someone that doesn't want to put the effort in. If you like this video, if you feel it was helpful, don't hesitate to like it or share it to someone who's dating an avoidant. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.